Welcome to the Modern Watchman podcast, where faith meets the front lines of culture.
We break down what's happening in the world, what's behind it, and how believers can stand strong in truth.
We're not here to fear the times, we're here to understand them.
Because being watchmen means staying awake, staying ready, and staying grounded in the Word.
Let's get into it. Welcome to the Modern Watchman podcast with Tom and Wendy.
I forgot my green.
Forgot your green
Synergy
drink.
elixir.
I have my appropriate beverage, and we're ready to roll. I would like to start off with a question for the audience as to what is the best Christmas gift for a spouse? One for a man, one for a woman. Put it in the comments.
That's way too ambiguous, I think.
Why?
Well, not all spouses are the same. What do you mean?
Be vague, like
jewelry. I don't know.
I personally don't think that's the best. I'm just saying that's something that you could put. I got the best present. Or I'm getting it.
You're receiving it or you're
I am going to
giving
receive the best present.
Oh, that's good. Who's giving it to you?
It's you, Tom. And it is a trip.
That's not a Christmas gift. That's a date. See, this is why we never date, is because you count everything as something else.
Well, you can give a date as a Christmas present.
Is this a trick question?
It's not a question. I'm counting it as both a date and a Christmas present.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you.
Well, and also
about
it's like
a
lot of dating because it's like it's 2 nights. So, and it's a surprise to me, which counts very highly. It's a very good gift, everybody. So far, I haven't gone on the date yet.
Oh man, I better book something. Better make reservations.
It sounds really great.
And
I'm very happy about my gift so far. We'll have to report back next week after we go on said date Christmas gift extravaganza.
Very exciting.
And I don't know where.
I do.
Well, duh. It's very sweet. Do a surprise thing. That's always, or maybe, I don't know. Am I weird that I like surprise, or do you think that's a woman thing?
Again, I don't know. I mean, I think it's like some people do, some people don't.
Oh, you're like, women are this way. You generalize all the time. Women do this.
Women are this
like
way.
You know all the women on earth all the time. You're talking about women that way.
I only know certain
today,
things.
On the way home from Trader Joe's or whatever, you were like, women are this way.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about women being lazy. And you were saying how women are.
First off, classic put words in my mouth situation.
I didn't know how to say. I didn't know how to summarize.
You always generalize. Today we were talking about women being lazy. That's what I said. Yeah, you're right.
We also talked about men being lazy, to be fair.
100% we did. We were talking about, I was generalizing that there's like your modern woman who's really bought into like the woman in the workplace thing and they're jobbing and there's like a word for that. What do you call it? Like boss babe?
Boss babe.
Yeah, so you got your boss babe. I don't know if that's
babe,
sexist for a man to say that or not.
Boss babe applies, I thought, more to like the side hustle world.
Oh, okay. Then not that. Whatever. You've got the like professional woman who's like killing it, doing her thing, whatever, and like also a mom and also a wife and also like doing the soccer mom thing.
Career woman,
all that. Hustling overall,
Yeah.
Definitely not lazy. We all know those, or maybe you are one. And then there's
That's probably the majority are working moms. Let's call them working moms.
Nowadays, probably, yes. And then there's like the stay-at-home moms, but there's the stay-at-home moms, but they are like, my familiarity with a lot of them are like the homeschooling, homesteading, baking, cooking.
That's definitely
also doing all the sports
how
stuff.
they appear on Instagram.
Sure. Well, we also know some of them too.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? That are
This
like,
is a-
this is not an Instagram act they're putting on. They're like legit,
Some of it is.
Some of it is,
If you go to a homesteading conference, you discover how few people actually homestead.
Well, it's all
People are consumers of the idea and of
Yes.
the what would be the word? Concept? You know what I mean? Like
it's more like the
romance
yeah,
of
the
it.
romance of it for sure. But then there's like people, the ones that are, on that side, they're like technically stay-at-home moms, but they're jobbing.
Jobbing.
And then there's,
Let's call them the Proverbs 31 women.
Sure, okay.
Because they're at home, they're making food from scratch, but they're also like, I guess those would be the entrepreneur ones, because in Proverbs 31 it talks about her being like a businesswoman.
I need my greens, man.
No.
Yeah, I do. But either way, then there's like the kind of, then there's what we're referring to as like the less productive was the stay-at-home moms, where I'm like, we all know one or two that are like basically watching TV all day, that kind of thing. Nowadays it's like they order their groceries delivered.
Hey, don't hate.
No, I know you do that, but you're also like,
it's great.
Like I told you, you're like the most productive woman I know.
I'm very productive
in so many ways.
And I was like, I can save an hour and a half by not driving to the grocery store, walking around a store, driving home from the grocery store. Excellent. I'm going to do that. I'm going to meal plan. It's going to be great. I also save money. Let's go.
Look, I'm not against the ordering of your groceries. It's just like, but there are also some non-productive
for sure
roles out there, or women.
Well, we were also talking about the difference between like doing your job and being ambitious.
Right. Yeah.
That, I think, ambition is a little bit harder to find in both men and women.
Yes.
A lot of people figure out, okay, I've got my job. I'm going to just go to my job. And again, I'm not being critical. We were just talking about the way that it is, the way the world works, and how a lot of people,
Well, we were talking about like what life would be like for us if like either one of us was just 100% counting on the other one to
make things happen.
And what that would be like. And I mean, we're very blessed, and I'm very grateful, and I give all the glory to God, because we couldn't do it in our own strength. He's definitely the difference maker. And at the same time, like, we have both been very ambitious, and we would not be able to live the life we live without that.
Makes a big difference. But again, we were talking about how unusual it is to be ambitious. And again, that's not meant to be critical. Like, I completely understand the desire to show up at 9, punch your clock, leave at 6, be done for the day, have your weekend. Like, there's an appeal. That's why that's why people do it, because you don't have to think about it. You just show up, you do your job, you know what your job is, you go home. Like, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to think up the job. Like, today, what do I do to generate more business or a new client or whatever it might be? And so it's a lot more consuming.
Self-reflective, objectively self-reflective and critical, like someone else. I mean, we've had people say like how you guys are so insanely,
you're committed to so many things,
busy. Yeah, you're doing so many things, like, how I can't imagine doing that or whatever. And it's funny because I think it kind of comes back to like a little bit of what you talk about with like the different, everybody has a cup, and everyone's cup can overflow.
And when it overflows, it feels the same for all of us. That feeling of like, I'm overwhelmed. I've like maxed out. I am maxed out. When you're just like, I need a glass of wine and I need to like go for a walk. Yeah. I have a Stanley, and some people have teacups.
Some people have different, but we have different size cups.
Yes.
That can be filled
before we overflow. We have different capacities, is another way to say.
I actually kind of want to talk about the homestead thing you brought up, because that is kind of a thing. In my mind, there are like the Instagram influencers, what do you call those where you have like 3 circles? The Venn diagrams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have like the Instagram homesteaders.
Okay.
You have the real deal homesteaders. There are very few of those. I will not claim
How
to
would
be
you
one.
classify them? Like they make their living off their homestead.
They provide for themselves off their homestead. Because a homestead, and this is something it took me a long time to learn. This is going to be a brief tangent. So a homestead is more about like self-sufficiency.
Sure. It's not really about production.
It's not about
a farm.
It's not about revenue.
Sure.
Is that right? Because you have to be productive.
I see what you're
You know what I
saying,
mean?
for sure.
You have to be productive to provide for yourself. But and then an agricultural operation, a farmer is about more revenue. You might be growing like in a monoculture, which is what most farms are nowadays. You're growing one single crop for money.
Which I did learn the difference between a farm and a ranch is growing food, plant-based food versus growing animals.
You know what's funny?
Is a ranch.
A true rancher will call themselves a grass farmer.
Fascinating.
Because what they're really growing is grass in order to grow that animal protein.
There you go.
That was a tangent within a tangent.
We're growing.
You can only find that here on the Modern Watchman podcast.
So what are we? A homestead.
Well, so it took me a while back to my first tangent.
Okay.
It initially when we started to live on the land.
Yeah.
In my mind, I would have told you we're homesteading, and in my business mind, I was like, we're farming. We're going to try and make money. And what I've come to find is that, there's like, I'm not saying it's completely an all or nothing thing. That is not, or a one or the other thing. That's not true. But to homestead, you can't pursue homesteading with a farming means, with a revenue means, the same way that you can't pursue farming with a self-sufficiency means. Okay. They're not the same, and they have to be separate, kind of. But either way, back to my Venn diagram.
Okay. Instagram.
You got your Instagram influencers. You've got your real deal homesteaders who are seeking more self-sufficiency. And then you kind of got like the people who are not necessarily doing the Instagram thing and not necessarily like hardcore all the way homesteaders, but living on the land. And they I would put us in that category. And I think most people realistically are in that category. Now we all probably dabble, or I shouldn't say we all probably dabble, but a lot of us might dabble in the Instagram influencer realm. And very few of the Instagram influencers are the legitimate homesteader, and or vice versa.
It doesn't count if you have so much money that you can live off your land because you have so much money.
Well, and in a lot of, because
there's a lot of rich people that are homesteading, and it's like,
but that's kind of like this is a weird thing to say because we are not rich people, but like our homesteading is about the experiences for our kids.
Sure.
And then we also benefit from that in relation to like we're growing our own beef that we know how it was raised and we raise it the way we want to. And so it's healthier for our family and all that. And we grow we grow our own
for the first time in years
pork and so on and so forth. We grow our own eggs. And
dairy.
We dabble in the garden every year. Some years it's better than others.
We really don't do well at gardening.
Eggs,
dairy.
We have been milking for almost a year now, very close to a year. So we make enough money to just shop at the grocery store for everything. You know what I mean? And in a lot of ways, our life we would have more time if we didn't have to feed hogs and move cows and move hay
and milk a cow.
It
really disrupts my morning routine.
So we could be more like productive business people if we didn't do those things. We are really in my opinion, that like it's a lifestyle for us.
Sure.
It's not, when I say lifestyle, we're not full-blown homesteaders where that is like how we live to feed ourselves. it's a lifestyle that we're choosing that way of life for me, and I'm not trying to answer for you, for the experience for my kids.
Yeah.
Really for
and the health benefits, I would say, for the meat. And
that kind
whatnot.
of, yes, but that comes out of it, I guess. But it all, like, here's the thing. Could I buy that food at Whole Foods or at the farmer's market? I could, you know what I mean? So it isn't really just about the quality of the food. That is a benefit, but I could buy that. But I choose to do it this way for the enrichment of my family from an experience standpoint.
Sure.
We are not Instagram influencers, but have we featured our endeavors in our social media? Sure.
We had a vlog.
You absolutely had it. We did have a vlog about that. But we're definitely not, well, we do have some pretty cool accomplishments. We have, up until recently, not had to buy beef for,
literally, we've had to buy beef twice in the last 2 weeks, and it's devastating.
And that's the first time in
years and years
that we've bought
it's unacceptable.
a beef cut of any kind. And generally pork too. And we probably do about 70% of our eggs because it's kind of a seasonal thing.
Yeah, right now we're a little low. Well, that's
then we've had a spike in eggs all of a sudden.
Any eggs?
But we do a pretty. You want blueberries in June? I mean, we got blueberries in June. All right, we got all the blueberries you could ever want. We got blueberries here. We got blueberries there. We got them in smoothies. We got them in pancakes. We got them in muffins.
And then we got them in our freezer.
If you're here in June, you're going to have a blueberry shoved in your mouth. But like, we are not the incredible homesteaders that are like all in truly producing like so much of what they.
This is quite the tangent.
What do you mean?
I feel like we're on one.
Well, I kind of think we're getting into a subject kind of a moment, but you're right. This is a tangent.
Connect to production and being lazy or not lazy?
No, I was like,
no, we're new, different. I thought we were tangenting from that concept.
No, but I think
it's much harder to be on a homestead and be a lazy, unproductive person.
That's true, but
because there's
I don't really want to
much.
I don't really want to tie it back to that. Oh, there is a way to tie it to that genuinely. However, there are a lot of folks out there, and I feel like there's in this renewed back to the land movement that's happened kind of, let's just say, since COVID kind of. Burnout is a thing, and we've seen a lot of it.
Burnt out on milking cows. Burned out.
And yes, it's all the cliche things are true. Like, this has just got to be in you. You've got to just love this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, to some degree, yeah, because
you just pivot and try something different.
At any time, you could go back to the suburbs, I guess, if you really want to.
Oh, you mean I thought you meant like on the farm.
Well, no, I'm saying there is yes, and some people burn all the way out and go, I don't want to do this anymore.
Milking cows, so we're just gonna like take some time off of milking cows.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Take some time, go back to suburbia.
I know not all of our audience are like even remotely in this world, so I'm sorry if this just does not resonate. But I do know a lot of our audience like
either is or wants
to someday.
Desires to have some level.
What I would say is that like,
we all need to be moving in a more self-sufficient direction, whether it's on an acre, a half acre, 84 acres. That's part of what we've been talking about on the last handful of episodes regarding inflation
even just like
and the dollar and blah, blah, blah.
Cutting yourself slack in the realm of like, it's again, this is going to be super cliche, but like, it's really more about the journey than have I arrived at the destination. You don't have to be that like, that alleged Instagram influencer that allegedly has it all together, because they probably don't. Honestly, the most honest and greatest homesteaders I know, their farms are kind of a mess. You know what I mean? Because they're working like they're working farms. And the truth is, if you've ever been on a real working farm, they're not for how pretty they are. They're for how productive they are. You know.
Like, and right now we have chicken tractors around.
Just basically like, if you're in it now and you're like, man, I just don't know, like, if this is for me. Like, this is one of those things where you go, what is the most important part about it? And for me, I've had those times. I've had those times when water lines break, or my well pump goes out, or the fence is down and my cows are a mile away, or I could go on and on, where my pigs have gotten out for every day for 4 weeks straight. And like,
we almost got divorced over some hogs.
Loading animals in trailers. Like, I could go on and on and on. I've had many, many moments where I'm like,
in the night,
if you handed me a check to go move back to the suburbs, it would be tempting right now.
Depends on the day.
But
how tempting that would be.
You got to come back
Today
to, like,
you pulled in the driveway and there was horse poop in the driveway, and you were like, crap, the horses are out, and like went on an excursion to locate our out horses, when really the Amish just had come by to visit
at 7 a.m.
Yeah, they were in my driveway at 7:15 this morning. I was like, hello, how can I help you?
And here it threw me off, thinking my horses had gotten loose because there was horse poop in the driveway. But either way, you just got to have grace with yourself, and you got to go, why are we really doing this? And that is what I come back to, is I am doing this for my kids and my family. That there is no, in my opinion, there is no greater way to raise children than on the land, immersed in real life.
Definitely
like
true.
The cycles of life, the cycles of seasons, the cycles of the work cycles of what you have to be doing at different times of year to keep in harmony with nature's rhythm, if you will. The ups and downs, the wins, the losses, the beauty, the agony, the beauty, the death, the new life and the death, the woods, the skill sets, the facing of their fears, the facing of things bigger than them. My kids put away 2 500-pound calves every evening, dang near in the dark.
My mom tried to do that one time and nearly died.
It's just so funny. Like, that's not funny, Mom.
Why
Sorry
did
about
you
that.
try to do that?
It's not funny at all.
Please don't ever do that again.
Which I was impressed that she tried.
Well, they got out, so she felt like she was the one that had to solve that problem. I was like, no,
I commend you, Mom.
Let them out. Just let them be out.
But yeah, that's what I come back to, is them being here in this, even when we're not doing it right, when we're not killing it, is the absolute best place for them. So if you are struggling, this is just maybe a little bit of a homestead word for somebody. If you feel like you're just completely failing, or you're just tired of it or whatever, make any adjustments you have to make to still maintain your kids getting to live in it. And if
you're not on a homestead, how can you foster that?
Well, and even just know that for when you are, if you have a desire to be someday.
Let me tell you, my cousin, who's like my brother, grew up in Folsom, California, which is very much like suburbia. He was in a, suburban neighborhood, and like, half a mile outside of his little loop of suburbia, there was how big is Zittles?
I want to say it's like 2 or 3 acres.
Yeah,
or something.
It's a little micro farm. But they did a huge gourd festival during the fall. They did a Christmas tree lot. They grew animals there, whatever. And my cousin, an only child, he got so much of what my kids get just by like friending this farmer neighbor. And we would walk down there every time I came to visit him. Like, we would work the gourd festival, even me, when I would go visit. And
even you.
Even me. We were the overnight security team.
We were the gourd girls.
Me and my cousin and my sister and like 2 of my cousin's friends, we were the overnight gourd security so that nobody would steal the gourd art.
Nice.
And it was, we got paid to stay up all night and run around a gourd farm.
Amazing.
It's dreams.
Look at
I'm telling you.
It's core memories for Wendy. And
it was in my blood, and I didn't even know.
She spent like a half a dozen nights on a 2-acre farm when she was a kid, and they're core memories.
Seriously.
If you can give your kids that 365 days a year.
So true.
For their whole life.
Well, and it's sweet because my sisters recently moved in with us as they're transitioning from California here to Tennessee. And her boys, my nephews, are just like, love doing chores. Like they love getting bundled up in the cold at night after dark and going out without adults to go close up the chickens and put the cows away and blah, blah, blah. And I asked him this morning,
and water.
yeah, is this just work or is it fun work? Fun work, fun work. I was like, cool, that's great. Particularly for boys. Although I will say that my daughter, man, I think if you ask her what is her favorite time of the day, it is 10 p.m. when she decides to go do her horse chores and she goes out and muck stalls for 45 minutes by herself in the dark and in the cold and listens to an audiobook or calls her grandma. FaceTimes her grandma.
I tell you what, whoever these relatives are that are FaceTiming with our daughter at 10 p.m.
10 p.m. our time. It's 8 p.m. their time. It's perfect time.
It's hilarious.
It is very sweet, but so it's boys and girls.
But that was just a little word of encouragement, and
find a way for your kids to have serious responsibilities. I think that's really what we're talking about right now.
Well, and
we're not talking about like put your underwear away and take out the trash. We're talking about like also important. That one's actually harder to get my kids to do. But serious responsibilities where there actually is like I don't want to say life or death, but I say that to them all the time. Like, you're taking care of animals. This is life or death. Like, if you don't give them water, they don't have it. And I'm not checking your work. You're old enough where, like, if I find out 3 days later that there's no water in this chicken coop or in the calf pen or whatever, like, we're really having a hard, that's serious.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is something. And I mean, this is like, not everybody is like this. Not everybody has to be like this. But, raising boys we're actually trying to raise men. And men means different things, different people. But the way I look at it, it's like I have to raise men for the, like, manliest things. And then if they don't if the demands of their life don't require them to be that manly, I guess great, I guess they have a little easier life. But God forbid I don't prepare them to have to be the manliest men, and then life demands of them more than they can give, more than they are prepared for. I mean, that's a failure on my part, and in the realm of like we talk about this on our podcast a lot, right? It's already such a digital world. Yeah. It's already such an unreal world, like a virtual, unreal. It's a lie. So much of what we take in, if you think about it, and this is me too, our eyes don't just view the world. We spend hours a day seeing screens.
Oh yeah.
Right? And if you go back
a day.
You go back 50, no, let's just say 100 years, every human being before that, the only thing they took into their mind, their consciousness,
was the actual world.
Was reality in front of them.
So true.
Right? And we live in a time now where we don't get glimpses of virtual reality or deceitful images or whatever you want to say. But now we actually have to spend a portion of our life directly exposed to non-reality. I'll just put it that way. And obviously, to some degree, we all need to limit that. There's no doubt about that. And then there's also the element of like, well, the world isn't changing backwards at the moment. It's only going further down that road. And to me, it just screams that much more. I have to give my kids a full embrace of reality, like a full understanding of this is what God's creation is meant to be, and this is what it's like to exist in God's creation. And from there, I know you'll get the exposure. There's no way the world won't find you there's no hiding from it. You'll see the other stuff too. But I think that in a lot of ways, so many of us have, and this is why there's such an appetite and a desire, I believe, in people's, like God's put it on so many people's hearts to go back to the land, is because so many of us already know we're missing something. Like we have missed it, or we are missing it. And that virtual reality technology world is like a drug.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an alcohol.
No, it is 100% addictive.
It can get you, it's not just the addictive, it can get you through your day. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But you can
how
still
you unplug is to
you can
scroll.
still be missing something. You know what I mean? There's still that
Yeah.
hole, that unfulfilled area. And I see this all the time. Like I see so many men, I want to say young men, but it's really between 30 and 50 years old, where they have this, like, I feel like they know inside, or at least they fear inside, that they've never really been or exercised what it is to be a man. Do you know what I mean? And I remember myself, like, when I was in my 20s, like I was afraid of missing the opportunity to be what I believed a man was.
What do you believe man is? What do you
Well, for me at that time, like it was to, I mean, it sounds so silly, I guess, but it was like to do manly things, to do things that were risky and overcome those things, and to
Are you talking about like challenging things?
all
Physically,
sorts,
mentally?
mentally. I mean, I had this extremely strong desire coming out of high school. I was like, this is going to sound silly because it's not like I wasn't a worker. I had a paper route, 13 years old for years. Like I was a worker.
Yeah.
I had a job, always had a job in high school
Lots of
and all
jobs.
that. But like, I had this desire, despite my already knowing how to work. I was like, I want to learn how to work hard, like with the best of them. And, I worked.
That's ambition.
It's ambition, but it was yes, but it was something it was something that I wanted to prove to myself, kind of thing, and maybe prove to the world. I don't know where
I'm
exactly
gonna
I
need
was.
some feedback. Is that a normal thing for men? Men listening, please tell me. Did you have this similar desire to want to work hard? I feel like so many, not this again, not a criticism, want to figure out how to work the least.
Well, don't get me wrong. I came to that eventually.
In the end, that's what
You know
I
what?
learned.
There's no better way to realize the whole work smarter, not harder thing
Than to work really hard.
To work really hard. And I mean, but I did. I went and I found these opportunities. I worked at a winery where we worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for literally months on end. I worked on a rice farm where we worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for weeks and weeks on end. I worked on a commercial fishing boat. That was arguably one of the hardest jobs I've ever done. It was dang near miserable, dang near broke me. These kinds of things.
Like the worst.
And
Sounds like a Moby Dick novel.
there were some crazy stories there, but basically it was like, it's the adventure. Do you know what I mean? Like I wanted to go out and know that I could contend with the world with the best of them, and I'm not saying I did. I'm not saying I'm one of the greatest men at all. That's not the point. That's just for my own self. I wanted to know I could go hang.
That's how you learn confidence as a man. That's how you recognize, okay, if there's something that comes, I know I can tackle it. Like as a dad, as a husband, if the dollar collapses, I feel like I've already done hard things and I could figure it out. It's like, is that true?
Yes, and it's interesting because this is going to be a little bit of a pivot, but I think it's so important for, again, it's in these like holding two thoughts at one time. Like what I've learned as a mature, wiser man is that God is my provider.
Yeah.
God is my protector. My faith needs to be in Him. My provision comes from Him, not myself, not my strength, right?
Some men never get there.
A lot.
A lot.
And I'm also want to say, I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's a daily, constant reminding of yourself and submission and humbling of yourself to that that is the truth
Yeah.
and not that I am, you know. At the same time, I feel like I would not tell you. So that's the most important. But like, you also need to be a man that is like, whatever happens, I'm going to overcome it. Now, part of that confidence needs to come from, because my God, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But like
But also your experience.
well, the thing is like, yes, God has always come through for me, but I oftentimes had to get to literal physical exhaustion, and may have, you know, like, you still have to have a confidence in yourself that I will do whatever is required with a blank check to accomplish what I need to accomplish. So if that's protecting my family, if that's providing for my family, if that, whatever it is, as a man, as a husband, as a father, that I will do whatever it takes. And then you kind of got to know, to some degree, you can back that up, because I mean, if you know you can't, then what's the point?
Like I said, I think it comes from experience, and that builds both of those things. It builds your confidence knowing I've already done a really, really hard thing that almost broke me, and it didn't break me. And I've already known that when I'm out on that ledge, God is there. He is my protector and my provider. Like, you get that. It's like the faith muscle. You know, like, how do we grow in faith? Well, we test our faith. We actually have to step on it a little bit and go, do I really believe the things I profess? Like, that's what faith is. So it is from your experience. Like, and not every man is this way. And I don't know why or how, because I just remember back, Tom and I met in high school, but like casually met. Like, we didn't date in high school, and you know, we were a year apart in grades or whatever. We kind of ran in overlapping circles. But when I was in college and you got stranded in the snow, which there was Tom and 5 other friends got stranded in the snow in Mendocino National Forest. And I was in San Diego at the time, and I knew all the guys that were stranded, and it made the news, obviously. Like, I think it made the news maybe,
I think
after you were fine. No,
well, I know it made it after.
Well,
it might have made it there, but I don't remember that part because I was in the mountains.
I remember hearing about it and knowing the guys and thinking they're going to be just fine, because I knew you and 2 of the other guys were this type of man we're describing. Now, if it was the 3 other guys alone in the woods, I would have been like, ooh, I hope they find him soon. But I just knew, I remember hearing the story and knowing you all, knowing the other guys more than you, and just going, they're fine because of you and 2 guys.
I swear, you had more confidence in me then than you might now.
Shut your mouth. But I knew, because you guys are those, you already were those men at 21, 20 years old, going and doing hard, challenging things physically, mentally, and just gaining skills, because obviously surviving in the wilderness is a skill that no city boy ever gets, because there's no experience there.
Well,
you know
I do think it's like the
being resourceful.
Skills are definitely important, but it is it's
mental
like
fortitude.
It's the mental fortitude.
Absolutely.
It's the grit. It's there's no quit in you kind of thing. And again, I'm saying I am not the toughest guy. Was not a Navy SEAL, you know, or anything like that. But just the message here is,
whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Well,
and some guys, women too, think they can do hard things, whatever it is. And I mean, it is literally a thought process of, half of you guys were like, we're getting out of this. I don't know how bad it's going to get, but we're getting out of this. And the other half of you guys were like, we could die here. I mean, that is human nature. We are one of those 2 things. And before we move on from this topic, there is a book called The Comfort Crisis that actually Charlie Kirk recommended a couple years ago, and I did read it. And it is about how men, it was written by a man, it was speaking of men, but of course women fall into the same category, but it was talking about how, like, most of the things that we struggle with today are exactly what we're talking about right now.
Right.
The lack of a challenge, actual challenge, will never cross your path. You have to go seek it. We literally spend
growth does not occur in
it doesn't
comfort.
occur
Right. Exactly.
in our society. We
Yes.
have like access to everything we could possibly need. We may not have the resources to get everything we might possibly need, but access really isn't a problem. And like even to the degree that we spend the majority of our time in a climate controlled environment. Like we don't even really spend much time very cold or really spend much time very hot. Like our crisis, and this is part of why he argues in the book, we're seeing transgenderism on the rise and blah, blah, blah. Like the only challenge we can have is like cerebral, like a thought challenge, you know, like it isn't, we don't have to, we are designed to go and actually collect our food. Like that's men and women.
Well,
we're designed
we're a very well designed creature
to survive.
For struggle.
Struggle.
We're actually built to overcome it. We've been given all the tools and capacity to grow into something, like you said, skills, tenacity, you know, all that stuff to become a creature that can not die in a relatively harsh world sometimes. I mean, you think about, I always look Farmer Boy.
Oh yeah, I was just going to
Laura
bring
Ingalls
that up.
Wilder.
I was just going to bring that up.
I mean, these people lived in upstate New York. I mean, it's basically Canada, and they had to cut every piece of firewood they had.
Bears were their enemy.
I mean, that was the least of their worries. The cold, the winter killed everything, and yet these people found a way to not only thrive
through it,
but actually still had productivity. They had a bunch of stuff saved that they did all these things in the winter to be productive in the winter when there was like pretty much no going outside.
And like, you know, the joy and we talked about this as well, like the quality of relationships. I mean, granted, we're speaking, you know, of an era that we were not participants of, but when you read these books, Laura Ingalls Wilder, and any books from that era, you don't read of divorce. You read of like a spouse dies. That's how a marriage ends. And it is not a relationship that we're familiar with, right? Like the gender roles are very defined. It is there is no woman that's doing man's work unless she is a widower. You know, like we're talking about, or a widow, I guess a widower is a man. You know, the woman does these jobs, the man does these jobs. It's based on their physicality and their abilities, literally in their bodies, and their inclinations that God gave us, nurturing versus go and fight the bear, shoot the bear. And there was such a interdependence in those marriages, you know, like the husband with his skill set and all the responsibilities he had to take care of could not possibly do all of that and the work that was needing to be done by the woman in the household, and vice versa. The woman could not prepare a year's worth of food. Like all through the winter, we got to store the food, we got to salt it, we've got to, you know,
make cheese,
unbelievable amount of production per day that had to be done by every participant. And also the kids, as soon as they were able. We get to see a little bit of that with the Amish community in a different way, but in a similar kind of an echo, I'll call it, of a time past, right? But like there was such a sweetness to those relationships, again, reading history, because of the absolute interdependency. And there was no, I could do it without you, or like maybe I'm just tired of you, or you're boring, or whatever reasons lead to divorce
we're just
today.
Not in love anymore.
Yeah, we're just not in love anymore. Or the 700 girls I see every day are more attractive and I'm over my wife at home. Like that just wasn't common in that time. You were truly partners in a different, more, you know, again, intentional design way, right? This is something the comfort of choice. And he talks about going on an elk hunt. Go ahead.
It really makes you, it really frames some things through a lens of like, man, all these things that I really love in comfort wise that make life easier are, the Amish would say they are of Satan.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Of the enemy.
And you can absolutely make that
and
argument.
you can make that an argument. And I'm not trying to come on here and preach to you that we're all going to get rid of our phones and our cars and go back. I am not here to say that. But when you look at it through like God's intention and the effects of all of these comforts that get us to a point where we can even
comfort is an idol.
Have the ability to say, well, I don't really like this wife. I want a different, younger,
we
prettier
have
one.
Choice and preference.
That so much of this stuff was just
not a thought.
We were guarded from it because of the struggle.
Right.
We were guarded from it because of the struggle. And
we have so many more idols.
I wanted to kind of circle back, but we don't have to finish the story you were going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, he talks about going on an elk hunt and how physically demanding it was to hike where you have to hike. And, like you might see.
Who wrote this book? Steve Rinella?
No, I can't remember, to be honest, but I'll link it in the show notes. But
I think we got to shout him out, but go ahead.
Yeah, find it. Comfort Crisis. If you're downwind of the animals or whatever, like you couldn't just walk to them. You had to like hike all these additional miles to go around, make sure you're staying out of their wind or you're sent out of their, keeping yourself hidden from them. But he also spoke about, okay, once you shoot them, how much equipment are you carrying?
Michael Easter is
Okay.
The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter.
Text that to me so I remember to put it in the show notes. Then he talks about once you kill the animal, you have to pack it out. You have to take it apart in the woods. You have to pack it out. And what a challenge that is physically. But he said some of the hardest part was the waiting, was the boredom that we are not bored. We talk about this all the time with our kids, and especially on car rides, like you can't have the phone. No, you can't have the phone. Look out your window. That's what we used to do when we were driving long distances when we were kids back in the 1900s. We looked out our window, right? I remember when I was a teenager, I finally got a Walkman or a Discman or whatever it was back then. And that was my entertainment. You played license plate bingo. You played look out your window games.
That's like the big thing, culturally in the South too. Like everyone hunts. It's not a big deal to like, you don't have to draw tags and drive 200 miles and you get to go once for 5 days every couple of years. In the South, everybody does it. And it's, that's a big part. You sit quietly and cold.
You don't sit without your phone. I'm talking about this guy is like,
sometimes
I don't have
do.
cell service on this elk hunt.
Yeah. No, that's a whole nother level.
Literally, there is nothing to distract me from my boredom.
You need to come out into our Taj Mahal hunting blind with us, because I watch it in my own children who I've been hunting with many times, where it's like trying to not be overly curating of it, but like give them those gentle, like we watch the sunrise, you know what I mean, together, and watch the scene in front of you go from pitch dark to beautiful, sunrise, all the colors and barely making out shapes
to each other.
And you have to be quiet and you have to sit still and you
really
have to keep looking, because something can come out at any time. And it's a little tiny little thing that is just one little element of like,
it stresses me out to even think about. I'm like, can I bring a book? I won't bring my phone, but can I bring?
You can if you want. But it's like it is one little. But that I actually believe that there is something inside of us that we actually yearn for that.
For that simplicity.
For that,
the detox.
It's the realness of God's creation.
Absolutely.
There's the purity of it.
Totally.
The unadulterated God's created reality.
Sure.
And it's quiet and it's boring, we might describe, in our modern comfort entertainment world. Can be boring to us. You have to feel all the things, and but I think we actually desire it, because the truth is,
we're
like
designed this way. That's why we desire it.
100%.
It's actually a skill. And I think it's in that same book. He talks about, they did a study of like how boredom actually makes you more productive, because he
creative.
said, yeah, but he's like, berry picking, I think specifically it was blueberries off a bush, like they did 2 groups of people and one was given the assignment, stay at this blueberry bush until every blueberry you can find is picked off before you move to the next one. And then they just let the other group pick however they wanted to pick. And the other group picked all the obvious ones, literally got bored with the bush and moved on to the next bush. And they were more productive overall than the guy that made sure to get every blueberry off the bush before moving on. And they discovered it literally is, you get tired of this one task and you want to move to a new task. It's the same thing, but it's a new bush. It's something like, okay, I'm bored with this. I'm going to move to something that's like gives me a fresh dose of whatever. Even like our boredom is designed into us.
It's interesting because that's actually in line with like how cattle graze too.
Absolutely.
Like, cattle don't eat every blade of grass. And they're actually, it's funny because if you stand and watch a group of cattle eat from 100 yards away, you would never see this.
We actually did a wonderful time lapse on one of our vlogs about
that. It was like a slow-mo, I think.
No, it was a time lapse.
You're right, it was a time lapse.
Where we saw them literally like move through the grass, and the methodology of it was really fascinating.
They definitely pick blueberries with boredom. Like they move to the next sweetest tasting thing kind of. But yeah, well, this part of the conversation stemmed from like just the raising children in a wild world. That
I feel like we also have embraced the idea that men are also still raising themselves, and women, but like intentionally bringing in challenge, not just as a parent for your child, but also for yourself.
I was saying this earlier. I think why there's so many, again, this is just my observation. You might be like, Tom, that is totally off base, but why there's so many 30 to 50-year-old men that like I sense feel like they've never really done what they were intended to do, or what they were designed to do, I should say. That I think that is a symptom of our modern world.
Absolutely.
And
you don't have time to be thinking about that.
I was saying it's a blessing because if the world was to revert or regress at all for any reason, those people would be at risk of being eaten alive by literal lions, possibly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And where luckily we live in the coddled world that we can survive that way in. And again, like, to make no mistake, I say all this, I present all this humbly in that, like, if I was put in upstate New York in 1830, I'd die. I'm not trying to say I'm like,
I think you'd be just fine, honey.
Caliber of man that
I would
was
probably
then.
Die.
We're
I
all
think you'd be okay.
Pretty watered down, in a lot of ways. But as a dad, I have to strive
to prepare your kids,
to give my kids an opportunity to really struggle, to be challenged in these ways that only God's creation can, or God's creation does better than anything else.
Sure.
And, obviously we're also into sports, and sports is representative of that, like.
I had no idea until I never did sports, but you're absolutely right. It's crazy.
Sports is, but I would argue it is not a full replacement at all.
That has also been watered down. When we moved to the South and realized at 3, you could be asked to actually understand the game of baseball. Like, the standard of sport here is so different than what we came from out West. Even that is being watered down with the participation trophies, and everybody wins. We don't even keep score and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my gosh, you're taking all the elements out of the game that actually make it a growth experience.
What if the most important thing,
even picking teams on the playground, people don't
what
like
if the
that
most
anymore.
important thing in sports is like learning to hate the feeling of losing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like failing,
letting your team down, getting picked
100%.
Last, being the worst on the team. These are growth opportunities that are critical that we're taking out of the game.
Yeah. No, I am a huge fan of, like,
It's a great,
the
like you
loss
say,
is an opportunity to
it is a
just
great way to practice real world scenario without any real world consequences. I mean, there's the feelings of real world consequence. And I mean, there is to an extent, like when you spend a bunch of money and going to a state tournament and you lose the state tournament and you're like, dang, okay, there was some real world money spent there. But it is an excellent opportunity to practice things that will happen in the real life. You will have the entire team counting on you and you go up to the plate. If you score, you win. If you don't, you lose, and it is on you, even though it's a team sport, because guess what? So is being a family, so is working at a job. Everything has a team element, but ultimately, sometimes it's your turn to stand at the plate and you're going to be responsible for the win or the loss, and vice versa. Sometimes it's your job and you're the best and you're not at the plate. So how do you encourage that teammate? How do you in the practice time make sure that whoever is at the plate in that critical moment is going to be ready to perform? That's us as parents, right? Like it may not be us at the plate when that time comes. It might be my son that has to be at the plate to make that win or lose decision or whatever. It is such an excellent way to exercise. And
But
what is the phrase you always say, which is so great?
which one? Because I got so many of them.
You're so great. The
Are you talking about the
world,
attitude or
I will judge you on your attitude and effort, but the world will judge you on your
Well,
results.
in baseball, I say, as a coach, I will judge you by your attitude and your effort, but the game will judge you
That's
by your
right.
results. And the world is the same way in that it will judge you by the results. There is no, I
It
mean, there's your mom
matters.
and dad who will say, but you tried so hard.
Yeah.
But the world will judge you coldly and harshly merely upon your
But
results.
they're connected. That's why we say that, because if you show up in the world with a bad attitude and a bad work ethic, then you never are going to get the results you want. So they are connected. Like that's
100%.
why
Yeah.
I, as your parent, judge you on because I know that you're not at the skill level to always put out the results. But the truth is, if you can foster a good attitude and a serious work ethic, then the results will be connected to that. The way that you
They'll
show
come.
up
Yeah.
will absolutely matter as far as the results go.
But
It is brilliant.
I am still like, I
Sports
think
makes so much more sense to me now.
a lot of our American culture has swung too hard
Oh, yeah.
to
Eliminate the
just
challenge.
well, no, and just sports, because I agree, like everyone out there that's like, yeah, sports are so good for teaching, building character, 100%. But I would say they're like 20%. They're capable of covering about 20% of
Sports
all
are.
that is out there for young men to grasp.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like it's not, sports is not enough.
It's not enough.
I see.
And again, different sports do a little bit of different stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I see that too, but
Daily responsibility, mundane tasks that you have to complete, being held to a standard of what you are capable of, not what is typical for your age. We see that with the Amish when we see freaking 7-year-olds out there running a team of horses unsupervised with no shoes on.
yeah, no, that's
time.
that
And I'm
we
like,
definitely just
wow.
I would
We coddle, we baby.
we can't expect enough from our kids. And I will say, and this is something I've seen firsthand over and over again. We're seeing it right now with fresh faces, our nephews on the farm. But like, I actually believe kids absolutely love
They love it.
responsibility. They actually desire responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
What they want is they want to be capable and competent, right? They want to be able to do things. I mean, little kids, we get to do a lot of it around the farm. Like, it's such a big deal for the kid to get to drive the tractor for the first time and then be a tractor driver from that day forward, and to drive the cars. Like, we have our kids love to drive the cars, the vehicles around the farm, the trucks and stuff. And it's like, obviously all this stuff comes with lessons, how important this is. We're like,
Absolutely.
we get the most out of it. We drill things in like 100%. Kids love to shoot guns, and and it's what do those things all have in common? They're big
things,
responsibilities. Like the gravity of those things is massive.
It's so funny that Cadence, we're like, okay, we're going to go to Maui. So you need to teach Uncle Chris how to do the horse stuff. And she looks at me like, I don't know if Uncle Chris can do it. And it's not because like
mind you, Uncle Chris was raised on a farm in Iowa,
like, he's
and
fully capable,
is more than capable.
But it's so sweet that Kay's like, only I am capable of doing this task on the farm. Like, I am.
She can't do a bunch of stuff that I can't do. In fairness,
that's for sure. She does know.
She showed me how to put the halter on the horse correctly today, and I was like, that is not how I was doing it at all. So that makes so much more sense. But yeah, it's the kids just have this innate desire for responsibility, actually, and I believe that it's
grown-up things.
It's tied to competence, and man,
it is a confidence booster when you are able to do a thing no one else your age really does. It's not typical.
I don't even think they're comparing themselves to others necessarily.
I mean, Kay knows she drives a car, and you're not supposed to be able to do that.
I understand that, but I actually just think it's on a deeper level than that. That becomes something they notice pretty quickly about it. But I think in a vacuum with no one else around, I think it's a lot of it is. Yeah, I think they care about it before they care about comparing to other people. And what I would say, and I don't want to get overly philosophical, but like, I think it's actually a deep appreciation for God's creation. Like when I just think about like when I've got down on a knee and, talked Merritt or Gage through firing the 22 long rifle for the first time, a little 22 rifle, and they've seen me do it, and this tool can reach out and touch something the size of a dime
really far away
and
kill it.
That is pretty dang cool. And and all the options that the doors of the world that opens, from shooting cans to shooting squirrels. And I mean, how many
feeding your family?
Was it 3 or 4 years ago that our now 12-year-old went out, shot a squirrel, skinned it, and
I think it was 2 years ago.
No, it's at least 3 years ago.
Because I just read about it in my journal.
Really? Gosh, that seems like a long time ago to me.
No, it happened actually in November. I remember I was wearing my Don't Stop Believin' Santa t-shirt, and we went to the I Am They concert after it.
After that?
Well, because I got home and we were going to the concert, and you
there
were like,
wasn't an I Am
try
They
this mystery meat.
2 years ago? I promise you it was 3. Guaranteed.
It wasn't. I'm going to check.
Well, either way,
confirm, and we'll report back.
When he put those things together, not only was he allowed to go out and shoot a squirrel.
That was with a BB gun at the time.
At the time, that was a BB gun. He had shot 22s.
Yes.
But come back, skin it, and then cut it up and fry it, and then feed it to his mom
as a
surprise, as a guest this meet. I mean,
all of these are on our vlog. We should maybe bring them.
He was just absolutely thrilled, or in the South, as we say, tickled to death about it. And I think it's for the kids, it's like a deep, innate appreciation of just the endless possibilities that God has built into his creation, that we as adults, we take for granted because they're tools to accomplish jobs and, blah, blah, blah. And to kids, they just see it as the bigger, beautiful picture of just like, wow, this is incredible. And I guess my heart is just for, I would
bring back the challenges of life.
And I don't know another way, a better way than in any way you can, getting your kids and those opportunities and yourself. But
like literally and yourself, because why do you think we do that for our kids? Because you and I make a daily practice of getting outside of our comfort zone. We are intentional about not living in our comfort zone.
Well, let me ask you this, because this makes me think. When you said that, do it for yourself also. I mean, this was my like dream to move to the land and live this way. But I also know like I am better for it.
Oh yeah.
Like as a dad, as a person.
Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. It does not happen.
I don't want to speak for you, but you are a transformed. You were already pretty cool.
100%.
But you have added so many facets to yourself skills, an untold amount of like skills that you just you didn't have any in that realm.
Couldn't cook a thing. Literally couldn't.
You could cook.
I could cook pancakes. Like if Tom went to shift, this is how it used to be.
Microwave chicken with
yeah,
Campbell's soup in a Pyrex dish.
Favorite stuff.
There, you could do things.
I actually never made that.
You've come a long way.
I've never made that for myself, although I did enjoy it when it was made for me. When we were first married, Tom, being a firefighter, first of all, he cooked because his dad cooked, so he learned to cook, and so I was like, perfect. I don't have to learn that skill because he cooks. And then he was in the fire service, which you cook at the firehouse, whatever. So if he didn't cook something and leave it home when he went on shift, we were 100% eating pancakes or going out. Like we were going to KFC or we were going...
KFC.
It felt like there's some vegetable options. So KFC...
It was the responsible choice. KFC was the caring mother's choice.
I also didn't want to.
You've come so far.
Spend a bunch of money, so I was like, okay,
I see. I think KFC is expensive for
pancakes, or something from a box. I could do box things very well. That's it. Now I cook all kinds of things from scratch every single day, and I also know how to make bread and whatever. But this is not like, to your point. Yes, I've gained a lot of skills. I'm only acting very unhumble in this little moment. Because I'm like recognizing it is from being willing to not just step outside of my comfort zone once, but like creating a culture of it in my life. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but just being intentional about recognizing where my comfort zone ends. And don't get me wrong, like I still have, like I know where it is. I'm an introvert.
I'm battling her comfort zone all the time.
All the time he is. And there are times where I'm like, no, I just don't want to do that. Like I don't want to go do that uncomfortable thing today, whatever. But I recognize where those moments are. And I more than not choose to do the thing that makes me uncomfortable on purpose, because I know I am, like, to your point, they're gifts from God. These opportunities are gifts from God from a creator who knows how I was designed to the person that has been designed to struggle on purpose for growth. And so I recognize every chance I get, I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn that skill. I may not use that skill, but
that's a great moment to bring back up if we don't have to be legalistic about it, but if we were to just, from a spiritual sense, view our comfort as actually that's
a negative thing. It's a trap from the enemy.
It's a tool of the enemy sometimes, right? I'm not saying it's evil to be cool in the AC in the summer. You know what I mean? But
let me balance this out because this is actually what I wanted to talk about, and we will talk about this soon, is this idea of the Sabbath, the concept of the Sabbath, which is the opposite of what we're talking about. Produce.
That's good. We should talk about that.
And the balancing
in the following episode
of
to balance this out
is the Sabbath, which we implemented 2 years ago now. We've done 2 full years of Sabbath on purpose. And again, not in any legalistic way. Absolutely. It was inspired by Charlie Kirk long before he wrote the book that just came out this week. But he wrote a book, Stop in the Name of God. He started exercising the Sabbath and talking about how much more productive he became when he intentionally stopped working. And how we even talked about that today, how much that has given me permission to go, and then know that I have a time each week where I'm not going to go. I don't work. I don't get on, sometimes I get on social because I'm not legalistic about it, but like, I'm happy to not get on social.
I'm
happy to watch TV all day.
Is it a rest or is it not a rest?
Yeah.
You know
is it
what
restful?
I mean?
Is it not restful?
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. But yes, we do need to talk about that in the next episode to balance this out but I wanted to say also part of my lack of humility, it would seem, in all of the skills I have gained is, like you said, the confidence that comes with that of the experience of on purpose getting out of your comfort zone and learning new skills for the sake of knowing how to do that thing has given me confidence that if I never, and it all, in a lot of ways, it comes back to my entrepreneurial journey with Arbonne, because that is like the biggest outside of your comfort zone kind of thing I ever did, especially for the person that I used to be when I started my Arbonne business. Being in my comfort zone was like mandatory for body regulation. Otherwise, I would be like coming apart. And I did. I had a really rough journey of anxiety, depression. I mean, I was a crazy person. I was a crazy person. So that exercise of getting out of my comfort zone and building something from scratch and persevering and all of those things opened me up to, okay, I gained some confidence. Like I was saying, the experience of that gave me confidence to continue to do it, but also to rely on God a little bit more, to recognize He is my provider when things were not going well in my business. Like those sorts of lessons gave me experience to go, when God told me to write a book, I was like, I'll write a book. I had not the first idea. How do you write a book? Like, do you just literally open a Word doc and start typing? Like, how do you publish a book? I had no idea, but I knew right away I could learn it. I could figure it out. Same with starting a podcast in 2021. I was like, I'm going to start a podcast. People ask me, how did you learn to do that? I was like, I don't know. I literally just knew I could do it. I just knew I could learn it because I had all this experience. And again, this is not me trying to sound as unhumble as I am coming across. It was just the experience of living a life intentionally outside my comfort zone tells me I can overcome that. I could figure that out. I could struggle my way through and learn that thing and fail at it for a little while before we're good at it. I don't know, like that's okay. That's part of the journey to success, is being bad at something for a little while. There's that perfectionism that keeps us comfortable too, is I'm not going to attempt something unless I'm going to do it excellently. It's like, well, that's garbage. Anyway, we could go on and on. This was a fun episode.
I do think we should talk about the Sabbath element.
We definitely, that changed a lot.
That's the balance of what we actually are not all productivity and
totally
ambition all the time. That's
well,
that would be wrong.
We are. And because we are, we have to obey God.
Right.
And rest. And that is a concept from Laura Ingalls Wilder. They talk about honoring the Sabbath in the book and how hard it was to know there's stuff that needs to be done, but I'm not going to do it because I'm intentionally resting, prioritizing.
They
God,
were more legalistic about it
family.
back then too, which in Little Farmer Boy or
yes.
Farmer Boy, that is the case as well. Like,
it's a trap. I mean, there's traps
our
all
kids
over the place.
Love it. We'll get into that. We'll save it for the next episode.
We will.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening. I hope this was valuable. Also, keep in mind, our kids are 14, 12, and 10. So we're talking as if we have the most amazing adult children, and we're in process. So maybe we're blowing it. It's unclear. But I feel good. I feel good about it. I feel good about the approach.
I'm just grateful every day to get to do it.
Every day. Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Subscribe, rate the podcast, share it with your friends, send us your topics, questions. I would love to hear what you want us to talk about. Have a good day. Thanks for joining us on the Modern Watchman podcast.
Remember, truth isn't just something we believe, it's something we live out every day.
Stay alert, stay discerning, and don't lose sight of the hope we have in Christ.
Until next time,
Be watchmen.